So, first today, I have the amazing band from Oslo, Norway, Flight, joining me all the way from Oslo, of course, and thereabouts. I have Jonas, Chris, and Herman. Thank you for joining me.
Nice
Thank
to
you
be
for
here.
asking.
Thank
Man,
you.
look, we were talking before we hit the record button, and the Darkness Descends show that featured Flight, featured Amethyst, Helvert's Port, and Century. Uh, Me as a fan, I couldn't pass up the show. I'm glad I went because from top to bottom, the lineup was just stacked with, like 70s, 80s nostalgia, heavy metal. And, it was a just absolute joy. I figured like the musicianship with Flight and everyone else, but with you guys, it just felt like y'all do this type of music way different than I've ever heard before. I've been listening to your music since about 2016, whenever first discovered it through Fenris's metal podcast. Um, him being right there in Cobalt, I guess he just championed Flight, and rightfully so. So I just really appreciate what you guys bring to the table as far as music is concerned.
That's very nice.
Well,
Thank you.
thanks.
And I just like to start from the beginning, man. Like, what or who had the idea initially to go into that type of music? Like what made y'all decide to like chase that classic heavy metal sound?
There's
Uh,
probably three different perspectives here, but you had some sparks, Christopher, and at least I got a message for you from you, and I've written some heavy songs at the same time. But
yeah, I think we had talked about it for a period because I never liked Judas Priest before, like in the teen when I was a teenager. But suddenly, it's sort of kicked into my head how great it was. And I think we talked about it would be great and so on. And so I had some riffs, and then my dad died, which fueled a lot of inspiration and energy that I need to get out. So pretty fast after that, I was just writing riffs and contacting them and saying we have to do something with all this.
and also in these times, like if you create a riff that doesn't fit in your active bands, you would just create a new band to use that riff. So
Yeah,
I guess
that's
we
the
were
story of our lives, I think.
we were playing in other bands together at that time. So yeah, made
Yeah,
some heavy riffs and we needed a band for it.
yeah. I looked at some of the older photos from whenever Flight was just getting started, and it looked like y'all definitely like were into some heavier, aesthetic. Uh, you know, Definitely had like leather jackets and whatnot, and just like looking the part of of that direction of Judas Priest, and and even some like even heavier stuff. So I don't doubt that there was music being tossed around that if it didn't fit whatever band, it was going to be used in Flight. And and that being said, like you guys captured that 70s, late 80s feel, that energy, like just perfectly, like live. And how do y'all, like songwriting wise, how do y'all keep it alive and just continue to move forward in that direction?
I think something that's a little different about Flight than maybe the other bands we were doing is that at least for the last record, that yeah, when we had a riff that was not fitting to the genre of the other bands, we would sort of make a new band. But with the last Flight album, at least, there's more, maybe not so heavy rules about what to do, and rather incorporating any ideas instead of making a new band.
Mhm.
So that helped a little, at least for the last record.
Yeah, so instead of creating like this soft 70s rock band for to use Comet of Gold, we just used it in flight.
Mhm.
What I'm just curious, like what other kind of bands that yeah you guys were involved with where like the music was, being created, I suppose.
Well, you guys were playing in Condor at the time, right? Both of you. It was
Yeah.
thrash metal, and we had this black slash death metal band at the same time, and
And we also had a death metal band, death metal band, me and Chris.
yeah, Gouge or something before that.
Huh?
Gouge or was it something
No,
before
no,
that
couch.
as well?
Yeah,
Yeah,
couch.
yeah, it's more like grindcore-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so doing a lot of stuff in like kind of a bit more extreme than Flight.
Hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, Norway, since I've been alive and ever since I've, took notice of what was going on there in 1995, 96, uh, it's always been, everyone just kind of refers to Norway as a very extreme metal, like ground zero for black metal and whatnot. And I'm really curious, just like how as musicians do y'all find that happy medium with flight where because it strays away. I mean, are y'all able as musicians to kind of compartmentalize those riffs and just like, okay, look, we're gonna just focus on flight and that's it, or are you guys like just you know continue being involved with the other extreme metal bands?
I still have 1,000 unused riffs from like 2010 that all start with Condor, Flight, Munsil, blah blah. So it was always on at the same time, just whatever was coming, just being creative and then sorting at the same time and seeing, yeah, just going for the best at first, I guess.
Yeah, I never had any problems with like going like if you want to write something for this or that band to do it in this or that style. It's just I don't know, more like a mindset. So I don't think there ever was a problem to write something more heavy, even though we were doing a lot of more extreme stuff. But even though we're playing like death and black metal every day with each other, we like if we met to have beers and stuff, it would always be 70s stuff like Deep Purple and UFO, Priest, Iron Maiden, stuff like that. So I would say we were listening more to that than more extreme stuff, at least together at that time.
And before I even asked, I was just wondering, like, what other type of, I mean, you mentioned Deep Purple, UFO, and Priest of obviously, but noticed with Echoes of Journeys Past, it just seems like there's more kind of a proggy approach in the music. Um, for that album, where y'all like leading on any particular albums or any particular bands to really like just I wouldn't say even like stray away from the heavy metal sound and nostalgia, but kind of maybe just I guess heighten it a little bit.
Yeah, we have. I sort of see it more later what was really going on, but I think for me at least, I sort of had a little of a vision of I think what I hear in a few records, like Legend. I don't remember which where they're from, but from the Fjords album and English Dogs, where they began, is sort of this has a little like mythological, at least aesthetic style, and sort of had an idea of how to use some of that stuff in the more heavy way. But there's a ton of yeah, I think there are really a lot more progressive rock influences in the details maybe,
Yeah.
but we play it in like more riffy style.
It's probably also just like how our tastes have evolved since we started the band in, what was it, 2012 or something. Like, I would say I was listening to more 80s stuff then than I'm doing right now, maybe. So, uh, at least like during the second and third album, listening way more to Camel and stuff like that, and probably more open to playing a little bit softer stuff. And I would say maybe the Winterhawk album was a big inspiration at the time we were doing the second album, and it's not like we sound like them or anything, but I think it helps with being more playful with the stuff you're doing.
Hmm. Herman, I'm
Yeah.
curious as a drummer, how is it difficult for you to just come from like a well, first of all, I'm not sure exactly what your roots are as far as like music's concerned, like drumming wise. If you were more prone, if you grew up more on the extreme side of things, or did you like always have this drumming that was tailor made for stuff like flight?
Well, my first influences in drumming were like Ian Pace from Deep Purple. So I grew up mostly with like the 70s hard rock stuff. And I didn't get into the extreme metal stuff until I was about 15. And when we started Flight, I was very happy to finally be able to play some more 70s-ish drums instead of just thrashing all the time. So yeah, I mean that's fun too, but it was great to finally get to do that.
Yeah, I imagine so. Someone who has um, huge influence on the 70s rock, definitely. Because I know just about everywhere there's a music scene. I mean, drummers are always in high demand, and and every drummer just wants to play to the strength of their skill set. And it just like to me, I mean, everything that I've heard on Flight's discography, and watching you guys live, it just seemed like it just seemed like that performance was probably just an extent of your rehearsal basically because everything just like flowed so seamlessly and everything just sounded like perfect. And the tone, I'm just really curious, Chris, um like what is your like the trade secret for you just capturing that organic the 70s style nostalgia tone on the records and in the live performances?
Live, it's a little coincidence because I really don't know anything about the stuff. But I have my pedals, which I found. There's a store here called Havaristen, which takes in stuff that can't be sold on the market because of some damage or something. And I found some pedals there. One was a reverb pedal, and I just love it. It sounds amazing. So this I probably I use it live a lot to get the sound, but also on the record, usually before any plugins, after, just to have the basic distance between the actual sound from the guitar and more of the space, which makes more of the sound on the last album. But for the other two, we were really dry and yeah, I'm not sure what I think about that stuff now, but yeah, it's pretty different than the last, at least.
There's something we were quite aware of in studio, even from the first album, was that we never had the gain on the amps turn to turn up too much. So I mean, Chris is a great player, and you really have to play it really clean to like. I think we had a gain on 3 or 4 on the first album on like a Marshall. What it was it called? JCM 800 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. The tried and true amp.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, so we were aware of not like having too much gain on the guitars to get more of that 70s style guitar sound. And I think on the first album it was only like a Gibson guitar into the amp and nothing else.
Wow.
And of course on the newer albums it was a bit more complex, but yeah.
And some of the helpful point about that is I'm really inspired by disco and funk, so I play a lot of I don't know what to call it, but the waka waka stuff, which you don't
A wah
really,
pedal.
uh, no, just with my hand when
Oh, okay. Okay.
you're muting strings.
Got you.
And this stuff you don't really hear so good if you have too much gain. So some of the dynamics also, not all the riffs, but some riffs come from using low gain or low fuss to be able to hear these differences in the playing.
Yeah, and also live, it's a total coincidence because we don't own any equipment, so we just use whatever they have when we play. So yeah, we have this Marshall amp that I think we used on every album, but and of course Herman has his drums, but yeah, I don't even own a bass amp, and I never did.
With the
Wow.
drums, it's I have a vintage Ludwig kit from the 60s, and I think that really helps the sound in the studio, at least. And also the way you tune it, and also a bit the way you play it. Uh, but yeah, live, I'm not completely. It's a coincidence as well.
And Herman, how long have you been playing drums? Just curious.
Uh, I started when I was 8, I think, and then had it mostly as a hobby with bands, and then I got pretty serious about it uh, right before COVID, I think.
Hmm.
These past years, I've been studying uh, drumming actually, uh, which I think has. I wish we could have recorded the album today because I'm a lot better, but you know, it
When
still sounds good.
as far as the recording and production with the albums, was that all done on your own, or you went to some place that, a professional studio? Because I know, I mean, we're living in this day and age where like everything is DIY, and and the record labels are, not what they used to be. So I'm just really curious, like as far as flight's concerned, um like did you do everything on your own, or task it out?
The first two albums, yeah, we recorded in studio friends of ours. But most of the other bands we played in were usually just in the basement together. And I think Echoes is the last music to ever be recorded in that basement because now it's a apartment. So at least we recorded the guitars there. And I have to say, I think it actually was, I don't remember what it's called, but I think we used Herman's brother's amp for the last record and a small Fender.
It was a
Like,
Vox
oh,
AC-15, I think.
yes, Vox, that's for the rhythm guitars, and then the Fender for the leads later. That might also
And
explain the
the
difference.
drums were recorded in a studio, kind of. Like, Arild from Necromantion has some setup in his basement, so I'm not sure if you can call it a studio or whatever, but he has studio
It's a
equipment. Yeah,
professional bass.
Another
professional basement.
another one of my favorite bands, man. It's just wild how like everyone is like so connected in the Oslo scene, and it's uh Necromantian and Obliteration, like two of my favorite freaking death metal and black thrash bands that's come out in the recent years. So that's really cool how those guys are allowing you to just record in their professional basement. That's killer.
They
Yeah,
were
so
always around.
What's that?
the first out. Sorry, Grace.
They were always around, and my first band we recorded with them first, I think, in 2010, but this was never released. And we were always hanging with them at that time, and yeah, I think general being inspired by them from when I went to child school, and they were going there with their long hair, exactly like they look today almost, and playing in the basement there.
And the first album we did with as Flight was recorded in their studio, Kick Ours. So Kick on the drummer, or he was involved, but maybe Arild did most at that time as well. I don't remember. And then on the second album, Kick on joined in for drums. So he was with us for a year or two. So there's a lot of incest in that scene there.
It's a lot like everywhere in Louisiana, man. It's like especially New Orleans where you have, like like Crowbar and I Hate God and Solid Green. It's like all every one of those members like kind of like interchangeable with one another. It's good to see. It's good to hear that Oslo is no different. I mean, but it's like the talent and the skill level out there is just, I mean, really second to none in my opinion. I think that's me as a fan. That's why I always find myself going out there and just staying like, keeping my ear to the ground of what's coming out. And I'm like, and Flight, dude, like I'm so glad I was able to catch you guys live because the live performance, it was just freaking like mind blowing to me. Just like Chris, like your lead work on every song, just it sound like the albums, and I'm just really curious. Like, do you make it a point to like do you go in with like on a live performance thinking like, okay, I'm gonna like make this sound either just like the album or even better? I mean, or just
I've been struggling a little with that because we didn't, or I'm mostly used to playing thrash, I think, and then just going on the stage to scream and get out my anger and do something on the guitar, and no one cares what really comes out of it. But when we have been playing a little more with Flight, I feel like I've been rediscovering or re-understanding what the album was really about a little, and it's been I've been testing to find out what I'm really supposed to do there on stage with this music because it's not it's a little different. So for this last, I felt I had a little different mindset, which was helping, I think, and I practiced a lot of the solos that I feel like are not something to improvise, but something that's a part of the sound and people want to hear it. So that also felt good for me to be feel more safe. Like I don't have to do anything I don't know, and I just stick to believe in the music and stay with that. And I think the sound was really good. Something was really just working on that last gig, and it doesn't always do that. And then if it doesn't feel good, I play horrible, I sing horrible. So it's, but yeah, the mindset is that I think I want it to sound like on the record, but that's not gonna happen because it's so many. It's just a lot of guitars and synths that are making sort of small things here and there.
yeah. Yeah, the title track for Echoes of Journey's Past. I mean, you mentioned that synth part, like that's where like the song is about to start like it's closing. So it's like the solo and the synth part, like just it connects so like beautifully. Like it reminds me of like, just everything that you're about, like 70s prog rock and whatnot, and how I don't know, there's a certain Yes song that that just kind of like reminds me of that. Uh, but it just, if you try, I know Chris, if you try to go for it on stage in a live setting, I mean, you're playing that night, this night I saw you. I mean, everything just clicked. I mean, the sound was perfect. It's no notes were missed or anything, and like the band as a whole was just, hitting on all cylinders, as they say.
That's really kind, and I feel like now that we have this sort of live setup, I've been more inspired to because now I feel like I understand more what we could really do as a band, sort of in a good way, being who we are. And I would like to make something more, but I don't know if this would just be like copying something or. But it's nice to hear that it's working what we are trying to do.
No, it's definitely working. And another question I have is like, what does the future hold for Flight Sound? I mean, do y'all, want to keep this where it's at as far as like this, the the classic heavy metal standard that you set for yourselves, or venture more into more of a progressive rock feel?
¿Por qué no los dos? Why not both?
Why not both? I mean, that's a great answer.
Yeah, and a little of the we I have I don't know what comes out of my hands, so to say. So suddenly I have a lot of to me it sounds like we just played something on the last rehearsal. Like, it sounds like Genesis to me, but I'm sure if we play it the way we play it, then it will sound like Flight. And I yeah,
I
Well,
hope if we make some more that we'll be able to continue to do what Chris just said, not care too much about this sounds like that or this sounds like that, and not just be able to just play it
Yeah.
because it sound like us either way, I think.
I think
yeah,
something people tend to forget is that the bands in the 70s were not just repeating each
No.
other. They were
No.
really trying to do their own thing and just making something new. And it's very rare, maybe that we do that. But the only way to try is to really, and when you don't really know if it's working, maybe that's a good
yeah,
sign.
yeah. And I think on Echoes, it's a lot of different songs. So like if you were to just pick one random song from the album and show somebody, they might not even think that this is like a heavy metal band. But if you show them another song, they'll be like, yeah,
Yeah.
totally heavy metal. So I think that mix is really nice. And like if you're listening to, say, I don't know, Sin After Sin or something by Priest, they have these acoustic songs and everything, like clean guitars and stuff. A lot of softer stuff between the really hard hitters. So uh, I'm I'm not feeling that we're like doing something totally new or anything. We're just doing it more in the way in that they used to do it. A lot of newer heavy metal bands, they're just like they have one speed and they do that for all songs on the album, and all the songs have the same structure. And there's a solo after the second chorus and maybe a different riff after that and another chorus and then it ends.
Yeah.
So I think we're working a little bit more with having maybe a little bit more linear structure to the songs, and so they feel a little bit more exciting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also like it doesn't have to be like every riff like we talked about doesn't have to be Judas Priest 1980,
Mhm.
it's a bit more free, you know.
Yeah.
Herman, as a drummer, like whenever you're rehearsing new songs, or like, or are you, you're developing drumming patterns, or phrasing whenever there's a new riff being presented to you. Um, how important it is for you to say, hey, let's just do this for, like, a couple of measures, and then like bounce out of that pattern and do something else. Like, I mean, do band members give you any pushback for like wanting to be a little freer with the drumming?
No, I feel like at least on this album, it was very much we were all very open to trying things. So a lot of the drum grooves or patterns actually sometimes came from Chris or Jonas. So it's like just try, which is cool because they're not drummers, so they'll think of things I've could never even would have never imagined to even try. Um, so yeah, it's been a bit of a collaborative process, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely tell that it's very collaborative between y'all, members of the of Flight, man, because it just seemed like everything that Jonas had said earlier about how, like, there's other heavy metal groups out there that, like, just like following like a kind of a same speed. Uh, there's more within Flight. I mean, as I went through the albums, it just seems like there was, like, just like it goes from like just straight heavy rock to like just more, like I said, like more of an avenue of going, like just progressive in nature. And whether it's with the guitar playing, whether it's the drum patterns, or the use of the synths and all that, um, it just it's a very, like, great fine mix of everything that's like that came out of the 70s and 80s, in my opinion.
Yeah, thanks. I think the first album is kind of more. I think it was more or less written, I think, in 2 months
Wow.
since we, like, Chris had that spark and we got together with the first songs, and um, maybe there was one or two songs that we finished a little bit later, but like most of the album was done really fast, so we didn't really work with the songs that much, I think, and didn't maybe give them the time that they should have had, like just bouncing ideas back and forth and changing stuff down the line. You know, I think at that time we were more like, okay, so this song is written, it's done, so this is how it should be. And on the other two albums, I think we were more open and just using the time a lot better and spending more time with the songs before we finished them.
Yeah, and I went through some time ago, and I'm pretty sure that 80% of the riffs on Echoes of Journey's on the album is from basically October to December 2012.
Yeah,
But
so
they
it's the
were,
same time that we wrote the first album.
yes, but they were just not prioritized at that time. And so they have been lying around, and I had them a little in my head, and then sort of started to see some connections, and then I went through many like demos for my own just to understand like this riff, how can I play it in a good way, what is the point of this if we're actually going to use our precious time to record and rehearse and everything. It needs to be really really good. So that first, and then take it to the band, and then we go through how does it sound together with this and this and this. So it's a completely different attitude to the whole thing, and working a lot on it.
Yeah.
Chris, as a guitar player, I play guitar as well. So I'll let you start off with your own origin story here. I'm just really curious, like, as a player, as an individual, how long, when was the first time you picked up a guitar and figured out that this is what I want to do?
I got the acoustic guitar for children when I was 9, I think, and I just played a lot. and I tried to go to some kind of teachings, but it wasn't really for me. And it's really just something I just loved it. And I was sitting with this basically all my life after school and playing Metallica, really just playing exactly all the solos correctly, all this and that. So I wasn't really good until we started flight. I never really improvised anything because I was just repeating what other people were doing.
Mhm.
But it pushed me after a while when I realized if we want this to sound good, I have to practice. So you hear that more on the first two albums, I think. And now I'm giving myself some freedom in the recording process to improvise parts and then put the solos together and then maybe play it or at least mix it up and not just I can't rely on myself to be like a perfect player all the time.
How often as a player are you like you just sitting down with the guitar practicing? Is it daily, weekly? Like,
Nowadays, it's basically never.
really?
But when I was a teenager, it was every day, 4 hours maybe, just always doing something with the guitar. But no, it's pretty nice to have established some sort of. It's like bicycling. You learn it, and then you know the basics. But then I have to rehearse for the live shows, of course.
Mhm.
But I miss it a little, so I try to put up. I have a new small amp with a lot of effects to make it more fun at home, so I don't have to go anywhere. So this I play a little, but it's more. I'm trying to not. There was a point in 2017, 18 where I basically quit all the bands and was just tired of music, and I felt like we used so much time on just repeating what we had made, and then I have all these literally thousands of riffs lying around that I never get to do anything with, and I've changed my approach a lot to trying to just make things and not. I don't need to rehearse more to. I'm not gonna be a better guitar player, and it's because it's not my. I really don't. I've never been a soloist or anything. That's not the point. The point is to make the music, which is more basic.
Yeah. Yeah, the solos, like I said before, man, they're incredible. I personally was just like just taken aback. I was just like in marvel of you playing. So much so that I was basically by the sound guy where I was standing. I mean, not as far, but a little further in front of him. And I went to the side of the stage and just like, okay, that's. I was really curious to see like what was your setup was about. You know, just really geeking out over what you were doing, and you know to hear you say that you're not going to get better as a guitar player, I call bullshit on that because I mean we have yet to hear the next Flight album you know come in fruition. So there's going to be some even I'm sure just as good if not greater things happening on that. So I'm looking forward to it for sure.
That's
Yeah.
nice to hear.
Absolutely, man. For sure. And Chris, do you still have anything besides Flight going on? I mean, you mentioned some other bands. Are those still a priority in your life?
Yeah, I've been trying to focus this year more on. I still have the yacht rock slash disco stuff. That is, I really love it, but it's difficult to finalize it because it needs to be so well produced, and I'm not a producer in any way. But I have the ideas and I'm working on it, and when I have some time, I'll do it. But yeah, I also have a black metal band called Motstand, which is just me basically. But I have also a lot of the album is basically finished. I just need to record it. So this is very close to my heart. And also Avmakt was another black metal band I have with Christian from Obliteration.
Wow. Is anything on streaming services that I could find that?
Ja, Avmakt and Motstand, they both have one album each released, but yeah, there's nothing more right now coming. A Gouge with Herman and me is we are finished with our part. We are waiting for the record label to release a new EP.
Well, please, send me whatever is available publicly. I would love to hear it. I really would. That's definitely my wheelhouse right there. I was telling telling Jonas before y'all appeared that how I mean I've been going to Oslo now for since 2022, and it's Inferno's been like the thing to do that, and Beyond the Gates for me. So I'm definitely a huge fan of everything black metal, especially from the Norwegian side of things.
Great. I will send you some black metal.
Sweet, sweet. Um, and start with I'm gonna go ahead next. Herman, how long have you been playing drums in your life? Really curious to hear where the beat of flight got its start.
Well, I started in a marching band when I was a kid, and just went through my dad's uh, like he had a lot of videotapes of Deep Purple, and just fell in love with Ian Pace, and just wanted to do that for the rest of my life. And I I've been lately studying drums. So I've had like a jazz teacher and try to learn because the 70s drummers weren't influenced by rock drummers. They were into jazz and blues, and like that's why they have that swing
Hmm.
with like Ian Pace and Bonham and Bill Ward. You know, he's got some really jazzy chops on the
Absolutely.
first Sabbath album. So I'm not saying I'm a jazz drummer at all, but I've been trying to learn it so I can be a better rock drummer, really.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I ever that caught my ear when it came to like Bill Ward specifically, because I mean everything just basically started with Sabbath for me as putting me on the path of heavy rock, metal, whatever, and it just you can't but hear that signature jazz style that Bill Ward played with, especially on the self-titled album. I mean, he like uh, I actually had a drum lesson or two, and one of the instructors told me like I was like a teenager whenever it took place. He's like, "Who's one of your favorite drummers? Who you want to play?" Like I was like, "Bill Ward." He's like, "Well, Bill Ward was on a bunch of drugs, so he just did whatever he wanted." I was like, "Well, no shit." But he had to come from somewhere, from a certain influence.
Yeah. But also I'm also I'm interested in trying to play the right thing at the right moment. So I don't want to be only like jazzy and swinging and all that. Like if I play death metal, I don't want to be all technical. Then it has to be like just beating as hard as you can, as fast
Yeah.
as you can.
Yeah.
And don't care about the technique or keeping a steady tempo. It's just aggression. So I'm trying to not get it mixed up.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I
keep.
noticed. I'm sorry. I was just about to say. I noticed that there is so much black metal uh every country, and they're coming out lately, and it is just that. It's just it almost sounds like a program. I mean, I know they have their own drummers and session or live drummers, um but it just seems like with every production, everything just sounds so polished and so
Yeah,
just overproduced that they lose the feel. They lose that soul, I guess, that
Yeah.
goes into the
They're
drum.
also like slaves to the metronome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which, it's all about having a perfect 120 BPM blast beat which is just lame because it takes all the passion and feeling out of the playing.
Hmm.
It's just like a automatic. Yeah, it sounds like it's been programmed.
Yep.
It's better to
Yeah,
just like the old black metal stuff, like Bathory, like the drums are technically terrible, but it sounds great.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Im-
definitely.
imagine if Chris Ryford had two bass drums that was tuned the same. Those
Yes.
those first albums wouldn't be good.
No, not at all. And I mean, in Autopsy, man, that was just one of those bands that pretty much fucking influenced the entire genre. I mean, there's so many Scandinavian bands that just that hail Autopsy, and rightfully so, for their existence. I think about Nihilus. I think about the first Dark Throne album and Soulside. Uh, Fenris is as you know better than I do, because I know you guys know him personally, but yeah, he's always said that, like, without Autopsy there would have been no fucking Soulside.
Yeah, I think most of the Kolbotn drummers, at least at at one point, had Chris Ryford as their favorite drummer. I did. I had a period of that. I know Valbo did as well, I think.
Yeah, it was it that particular era of death metal, man. It's like it continues, and there's like, even with like younger bands like Gouge. I mean, it's just heavy Autopsy worship out there, and I'm here for it.
There
But
will be more autopsy worship on the next gouge, to say that. No secret.
Jonas, and I'm not gonna leave you out, man, not at all. I'm really curious, how you came up as a young musician, and what brought you to land on bass duties for flight, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, I think the word musician is a pretty like heavy loaded word. I don't consider myself a musician. I'm a guy who plays riffs in a band. But yeah, I started playing the guitar when I was 18, I think, so pretty late. Just because I wanted to play Ramones songs. I heard they were easy, so I bought a guitar and tried. So I think I learned the first four albums in the first half year, and after a while started playing more Judas Priest stuff like that, and I had to learn like the right hand again because I was only playing downstrokes for a year. Um, yeah, moved to Oslo a bit later. I'm not sure how old I was, maybe like 24 or something,
Whenever you moved to Oslo.
and I got to know, yeah, and met these guys through Magnus. There's another guy in Condor, and yeah, we were playing in Mayans Hill, which is more like I'm not sure if it's a death metal band or a black metal band, but it's something in between there. A little bit of Hellhammer and a little bit of Autopsy or stuff like that. And yeah, so I switched to bass because I never managed to play fast enough on guitar, so it was better to play half time on bass. So I switched to bass when I moved to Oslo. So yeah, not much to say. Pretty random.
Well, there is a little bit more to say, because I mean, I didn't realize that by having flight on, that I would have I mean, did I hear this right? Like, you and Chris are both a part of Condor?
I wasn't, but minus the other guy I was. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
And Herman.
I,
No,
I was
well, holy shit, that's a bonus for me, because I mean, Condor is one of my favorite fucking album groups as well. I wasn't informed that I had a member of Condor in the lineup as well. Man, that group is the what album what I mean all the tracks that I've heard from Condor. I mean, it's in the playlist for sure. So, man, it's you work on that, Helmer, is fucking amazing, man. Like, I'm a fan.
Oh, it's probably the one I'm not playing on. Yeah.
Oh,
Unstoppable power.
great.
Well, man, I'm really curious though. Like, like, what matters most to you? To all, I mean, anyone could take the question. As far as flight as future, like, what I mean, in the what makes flight what's the most important thing to you as a group like that you all accomplish together in the future?
We don't have a plan or anything, but I'm really I have this tendency to make plans. Right now, there's not so much, but I think this album was like a high point that we can look back on and be really satisfied with. And um, yeah, who knows?
Yeah, like I wouldn't be crushed if nothing new happened because, as Chris said, this is a highlight to look back on. But yeah, I'm pretty sure something might happen. But people are busy and things takes time.
Mhm.
But yeah, we probably won't be playing live too much. I'm not. I don't think anybody of us is like really hyped on touring. But I think the schedule we've had for the couple of last years have been nice. Like one gig here, one there, but the distance between them is so we don't have to rehearse that much between them. Like we don't forget too much. So like we have like one or two rehearsals before each gig, so it doesn't require too much of our time. And if you can do maybe 3 or 4 of those a year, that's cool.
And I
And
think,
hopefully they would all be as good as this Darknet Descents lineup.
and as for what's important, I think we could for sure get together now and make some music. Uh, but I think if we just rushed it without really having some sort of yeah,
Like
not a plan,
framework.
some kind of framework for what we want to do, then uh, I think it's important to have a vision and to want to work hard to make something really good. And if we're gonna do more, I think that's what we need to start with.
Yeah, like we notice when we play live, like we get a really good reaction from like the title song from Echoes. And it's like, okay, so we should write a new song like this then, because it's a lot of fun for us to play this live. But I think if we were trying intentionally to make a new song like that, it wouldn't work. So um, yeah, maybe just play around and see what happens.
Yeah.
I would like to do more, but like they say, only if the result is good. I don't want to put an album out just to have a follow-up or do
Yeah.
more gigs or anything. Just so yeah. But it'll have to be at the right moment for everyone. Like it's nothing we have to rush into.
Hmm. Yeah, and I'm all for it. I mean, if it makes a better performance or even better record, I mean, there's nothing like just taking your time and just and crafting it at your liking, I suppose. Because yeah, I noticed that there's a couple, just looking at the discography, there was like maybe a few years between the first two albums, and in a few years between a leap through matter and echoes. But like every record, it just seems like there's like just this whole another type of sound, like a whole new evolution in the band as far as the songwriting is concerned. And I mean, I'm just looking forward to what y'all put out next for sure. Um, Normally, I would ask everyone, what's their favorite six albums that they can't live without, and I mean, we can do that, but I know that it kind of puts people on the spot. But being that there's three of you, I'm just really curious about like if Flight could curate uh, a festival and you could pick six bands, living or dead, who are they going to be?
So do you pick six each or two each or?
You can pick two each. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. On my screen, Chris is on top, so maybe you can start.
I have to think a little because I don't know if for me
Well,
the
I know one.
okay, you go.
I never seen Camel live, so I would put them there just so I can, and they would have to play Snow Goose.
Same here.
Okay, but are they playing two times then, or?
Yeah, are they going to do two?
No, it's a good question. I would love to see some. I've always been listening to the Japanese fusion from the 70s, and to see one of those bands playing some beach songs, I would love it. And Sade, for sure. I'm always looking. Is she coming back? No. Why? She needs to tour.
She needs to. Yeah. I mean, she probably doesn't need to because she just made so much money off all those singles, you know? So,
We gave her too much money.
exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this is a good answer to your question, but I discovered this band from the US this summer, Rattlesnake Milk. They make like really cool, like Westernish songs with a little bit like surf guitar sound.
Yeah.
And I saw they played Oslo 2 years ago, and of course I didn't know about them back then, so it would be really cool to see them.
Well, if you're into like surf, like punk music, I got some really good friends from mine in from New Orleans, and they're really great at what they do. Then during their live shows, they actually put together like a bunch of like this medley of Motorhead tracks and Iron Maiden's tracks, completely instrumental, but it's all done like surf punk rock style. It's fucking amazing. They call it the Unnaturals.
Sure.
What about
Do
you,
you have
Herman?
any?
Oh, I don't know. Uh, uh,
Grateful Dead. Grateful Dead.
well, certainly, I wouldn't mind a 6 hour Grateful Dead show with I think 1977 lineup. Uh, I'm trying to think of the other band. I don't know. Beatles, if they'd like to.
If I'm on the guest list for Beatles, I would show up. Okay.
There you go. There you go. Hey, that's one interesting little festival we got going on here.
Some
Man,
schizophrenic style.
I just want to, man, thank y'all for devoting an hour of your time, man. I know everyone's split within Oslo and whatnot, and I just wanted to take this time to just thank you all for coming on board the podcast. It was really great to meet with every one of you and to see you guys live. And
Oh, I, I think before we quit, we should probably give a little shout out to Håkon,
Yeah.
who played with us at Darkness Descends.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And he's
just
the actual prog rocker of any of us, so maybe that's why it sounds so great.
I actually met him. I spoke to him first after after the y'all guys left the stage, and because like I didn't know who was uh I guess any founding members or whatnot of Flight, and I approached him to do the podcast. He's like, oh man, like, he's in between a few beers, and he's like, and he was looking for you, Chris, and he's like, my guitar player is the guy that you need to talk to. I don't know where he's at, but I'll let him know that you want to do this.
Yeah, he mentioned it.
It was great talking to him, and so yeah, he definitely
He's
looks the part, that's for sure, and he plays the part.
mm, he's a
Yeah,
great
and
great guy.
we like every live show we did since Echoes was released, he did with us. And like on the first rehearsal he joined in on, he had learned like every guitar part for the whole album. So like in case he was playing this or this harmony, he knew both of them. So
Wow.
it was real professional.
Yeah. It amazes me, man, just how great and how masterful a lot. I mean, and a lot of you are so humble. Like, I mean, the musicians from Norway, uh, like you're like, oh well, I only practice to just do the songs justice or whatnot. But um, a lot of musicians that I meet up with are talk to from Scandinavia, it's like, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, we just do this. And like people I know in America is like, dude, I gotta practice every fucking day to do what I'm doing. It just seems like, I don't know, like something in the water over there, man. Like fucking musicianship is just fucking here, and it stays there.
And
That's
there's a
really
lot
cool.
of tech music in the States though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on board. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to the next album, and hopefully, next time I'm in Oslo, I'd like to meet up with you guys, maybe have a chat again in person. And uh, thanks again. So thankful for now.
This was cool.
Yeah,
Nice to
thank
meet
you.
Yeah, thank
Just
you.
message when you come.
Oh, we'll
you. Yeah.
do. We'll do. We could do some hiking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll get lost in the mountains, and why not?
in the woods at least.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
in the
yeah.
mountains here.